Hello, I'm Rick Steiner. Welcome to Luxe Life Discovered. My guests today are Jason Clem and Chris Honeycutt from Pyro Shows Incorporated. So welcome, guys, and glad you're with us today.
Thanks for having us, Rick. We really appreciate you inviting us to be here with you today.
Well, good. Yeah, your company is one that I've been impressed with since I just learned about you through Hilton Sandestin and the group there. So Jason, tell us what you do with the company, and then Chris, you follow up and give us what all you do with the company.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So my name's Jason Clem. I'm operations and sales for Pyro Shows Incorporated. Our owner, Lanston Hill, started Pyro Shows in 1969 and has been doing fireworks on the Gulf Coast for several years now. The Hilton Sandestin is one of our customers, great group of people over there. I represent that area as far as sales are concerned. All the shows up and down the coast is kind of my territory, so I'm involved in sales with that, and then also in operations, making all that happen and facilitating all of that on the Gulf Coast. Here in Tennessee, I just do probably what 90% of America does, just computer work and logistics, and try to make it all happen, right? Buying, selling, talking on the phone, and putting all the pieces together with the operation.
Okay, good deal. And Chris?
And again, just reiterate what Jason said. Thank you for having us. It's an honor just to get to sit with you today. Well, my career, I guess I've been shooting fireworks from the time I was in college. So we're talking, I just turned 39, so I'm getting older here. So, so I think about 18 years I've been shooting fireworks. I was teaching and coaching football, and Pyro Show said, "Hey, you want to come work for us full time?" And I said, that don't sound too bad. So I am currently the director of human resources, which that title is I don't know, it's just the title, but we all do so many different things. So here at the office, a lot of compliance and making sure things are right with our technicians, and going through all the new hire stuff and making sure our technicians are trained. That falls kind of under me. So actually, we're in our training season, actually about to kick off this weekend. So we do a whole lot of that, and we all do a whole lot of things. I'm sure that just like with any company, we wear a lot of hats.
We have a title, but yet there are so many things that go with it that you would never think are included in that job description. Yeah. So let me ask you, okay, so when somebody contacts you and wants you to do their fireworks, whether it's, because you guys do small events, you also do like the firework displays, 4th of July, and a lot of things along the Gulf that you mentioned. But I mean, there's some pretty big, elaborate productions.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess this is like one of my questions for me. Like when you have, say, if it's a city of Destin that contacts you and wants you to do their fireworks show for the 4th of July, how in the world how does the planning process even begin for that?
Well, from the sales side, I'll probably let you speak to that.
Okay. So how it originally starts, sometimes we are cold called by cities. People like municipalities and things will put in proposals for that. They'll do multi-year bids, and we'll try to bid on those cities. But once the lead rolls in, whether it's a city or whether it's an event, whatever that is, it's really a collaboration, almost like what we're doing right now. A lot of Zoom calls, a lot of Teams meetings and conference calls and all that to try to get what is in your head of what you want to do. And then are the fireworks more your total event? Are people going to show up for a fireworks show, or are people show up for your bridal show and the fireworks are just the end cap of that event? So we're just putting an exclamation point on a wedding or an event or a marriage, something like that. So once we figure that part out, and then really where the show site then is, we can figure out what we're going to display, what size fireworks shell we can use, what type of low-level product we can display, and then what the local laws and ordinances and all those things are with sound and fire marshal approvals and state permits and FAA, how close we are to airports. All those things start coming into play. And then, so once we figure out the legality of it and what we're doing and what we're displaying, then we can push it through to a show design process and then come up with something that aligns with your vision of what we're trying to do. And then you approve that, make sure that it's what you're looking for your event. And then we start putting it together logistically, which that gets in the whole sometimes can of worms. Are we shooting off a land or a trailer or a barge? If you have to get barge involved, then you're getting Coast Guard involved. And is it ocean going? Is it not? So all the logistics start coming into play, and every show is different. There's not one show that's the same. And then once we identify all those things, then we got to figure out a technician to do it who's capable of jumping through all these hoops. So then we can identify that technician with the type of show, style of show, size of show, and then put it all together and cross our fingers for good weather and execute it.
Oh yeah. So there's a lot that goes into it.
There is. Yeah.
The zoning, the whole legal part of it, the what's allowed, isn't allowed. So that has to be frustrating at some point. Have you ever like been going along in a process and then all of a sudden there's a kink that comes up because some thing wasn't checked or whatever, or somebody didn't notify you of something until it was too late? Or
Sure. I know one thing that I don't know if you mentioned, but I guess I'll jump in and say we have an incredible team of people at the office from the permitting, the ladies that do all the permitting, and then the show design team. You mentioned that, but yeah. So like in the permitting process, the AHJ or the authority having jurisdiction could just stop the whole thing. The customer has what we want, we're ready to go, but if they don't approve it, it just cuts it off right there. So that's a that can happen.
They have to approve our plan. That's right.
Sure. Yeah. So when your boss started the company years ago, I mean, that's a heck of a venture to begin, because it's not your run of the mill business. So I mean, it's very specific. So I can see him being like you, Chris, somebody that kind of did the fireworks and then just kind of thought, man, I want to have fun with this. And which you've got to have a lot of guts to do something like this.
Yeah, I think for somebody like Lanston that enjoys blowing stuff up, and then you realize we might be able to make.
I think of a good way to say that. Yeah.
In a safe way, that's part of my job. Got to make sure it's safe,
Right.
right? So, but yeah, I think he figured out he can make a little money off of it, and it's just, of course, him being just the incredible person and the incredible personality that he is. His personality is just infectious, and people are drawn to him, and that just, it blossomed something that's pretty spectacular.
Right.
I know growing up here in La Follette, Tennessee, where the company is based, knowing that there was like a fireworks company over there, but not even realizing the size and the reach that this company had is pretty amazing. He's done an incredible job, from 1969 to now.
Yeah. And you're talking about the size and reach that the company has. Jason, you were telling me that you guys do several events across the along the Gulf Coast, but also in other states, Tennessee, Kentucky.
We do. Yeah, we have several offices. So Pyro Shows Inc. is located in La Follette, Tennessee, which is north of Knoxville, about 35 miles north of Knoxville.
Okay.
And we have a location in Springfield, Kentucky, which is in the Bardstown area. And then we also have an office that's located south of Charlotte in Catawba, South Carolina. And we have an office in Texas, at Fort Worth, Texas. So we can reach out west. And then we have one in Alabama, which is Adamsville, Alabama. That's our Pyro Shows of Alabama location
just outside Birmingham.
outside Birmingham. Yeah. And then we have several satellite storage locations that we have throughout the Gulf Coast. One of them is located, I'm sure you're familiar with the Gulf Coast, in Crestview, Florida, the Defuniak Springs area.
Right.
So yeah, we do have all these strategic locations so we can then hub out of those areas and reach these smaller communities.
Yeah. So for the people that listen to this and watch this along the Gulf Coast, what areas do you do the shows for along the Gulf Coast?
So there's several. I don't want to just say most of them, but it's
All right.
it's almost that. It's about 275 shows a year we do on the Gulf Coast. Just
Really? Okay.
Mm-hmm. So all the surrounding cities, Crestview and Defuniak and Niceville and Fort Walton, Destin, and then Seaside, Alice Beach, all those going up towards Panama City on 30A, Water Sound. There's a lot of the communities in the Gulf Coast region, really from Mississippi east to Apalachicola, Jacksonville area. A lot of those communities we currently do or have done business with in the past.
That's interesting. I didn't realize there was that many. So
yeah.
Well, good. So okay, going back to like when the customer contacts you about like their display they want. Okay, I'm with my mind's going like, how do your technicians even know how to put things together to make it have that result? You know what I'm saying? That it may sound like a dumb question, but there's some precise packing and whatever you phrase it, but that's pretty interesting.
There is. I mean, a big training program, which Chris, he's somewhat over that, so he can explain that part.
Okay.
Well, before we ever get to the training, so after it leaves our show design team, then it goes to our warehouse, and so we have again an incredible team that the show is scripted, it's packed together in a way that when it gets to the technician's hands and they open boxes, it's as easy as possible. So that's where it starts really. And to be honest with you, there was a lot of on-the-job training. So we train up our lead technicians. We continually are always, we're training them yearly on the the industry or something that maybe just pyro show specific or changes with product, and it's a continual communication to make sure that they're staying fresh. Now, a lot of states have actual licensing programs. The state of Florida does not, but we still, as a company policy, do a yearly training in your area just to keep those guys and girls, really fresh and up to date, and they get to see our faces and then they know what it's going to be like when they get to the show, when they open up the paperwork and know if it's shot digitally, is it shot manually, is it hand fired, or and so we all that starts with people like Jason here in the office, and then goes out into the reaches of whatever market that we're in, and then we have a training team that just really is continually going out talking and sending videos or newsletters, just continually talking about things that can be safe and keeping them up to date on new technology or whatever it may be. So it is a big task, because you're talking about, we're somewhere between 1,500 and 2,000 technicians across the Southeast, and trying to reach them and communicate is a difficult task, but we do our best.
Well, and like you said, this is one of those professions that you can't take anything for granted and assume everything is like, okay, this is a repeat of what we've done before. It's going to be easy work. You've got to be on top of it because of all the different things that could happen along the way.
That's right.
So what's the biggest show that you guys have done?
Personally or as a company?
Yeah.
Well, I guess the answer is
I bet you were in a lot of trouble. I could see why you got into this.
Yeah.
No.
We do a lot of, we've done, when I say we being pyro shows, me, not personally, as a company over the years, they pyro shows have done fireworks competitions in different countries. They've
Oh,
done
really?
something
Okay.
in Abu Dhabi before, things like that. But as far as it's not your question, I mean, the largest show we do as a company is probably Nashville, Tennessee, 4th of July. As far as the size of the show, and that's touted as one of the largest firework displays in the nation on the 4th of July, and we as a company do that display.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay. Yeah. So talk more about the competition. I never thought about firework companies having competitions. So, makes sense, but I just never thought about it.
There is actually our Texas office just competed in one in Michigan just a few months ago against a team out of Italy and a team out of I don't even remember where they were from, Canada maybe, and then there was 4 or 5 that competed. We don't do a whole lot of those, especially now as the company's grown. We've kind of tend to stay more focused on the task at hand, what's in front of our face. But we have done those. Been a part of one in Dubai that wasn't done by Power Shows, but we had technicians that were there. I think that was initially a way to get the Power Shows name out there. And these competitions were really pre us, right? I mean, it's been a little bit since we've done those.
Yeah.
And there's
overseas anyway. Like I said, we did the one in Michigan.
So, like when you do them overseas, do you ship everything over? Because if you do, I'm sure that's
another piece of the puzzle. That's right.
Yeah.
And so you do that. Yeah. And then there's a lot of logistics involved with the local people on the ground in those other countries trying to, get things around, and their laws and their ordinances are different than ours. So you rely on a lot of the local knowledge for that, kind of ride their coattails for those things. But as far as competition, I mean, there's few companies that do fireworks. They're not very prevalent. But most of the firework companies in the United States and really in the world are we're all friendly. We know everybody. So there's not. It's a very small community. So we help each other out. We do all those areas, I guess, the areas that we're in and what we're prominent in. We'll send shows to other companies, and they'll send shows to us. So it's a good group of people for sure.
That's good.
Yeah.
Of the different types shows that you do, what's your favorite? Like, as far as, is there certain firework or?
I really enjoy the college football that we do.
Yeah.
I'm a big football fan, so you're going to tell me I get to go shoot, fireworks at a SEC football game? I'll be like, sign me up.
Yeah.
I would pay to go to that game, and you're going to pay me. So again, later in as this career grows, I'm wanting to do less and less of the big physical stuff and more of the more intricate, close proximity pyrotechnics that we do.
Sure.
But the college football is pretty fun.
Yeah, and especially SEC football, that just adds more mystique to it and hype. So that's cool. Yeah. So where do you see the company? What's it like in 5 years from now? I mean, it sounds like it's grown considerably since, from the beginning, and it has, because you're in so many different states. What could be next on the horizon?
I think there's always something. I think we're always looking for the next pyro shows thing. So I mean, there's discussions about different things here or there. But I would think it's safe to say that Power Shows isn't done growing, and we're building a force that can handle more, and trying to forecast what's next. Without saying anything that we shouldn't say, but I don't think we're done.
You're not ready to sit back and just coast.
No, I don't believe so. And as you've seen, just living your everyday life, I was watching a game show last night, and then what was it called? Raid the Cage, I think is what it was. And after they raided the cage and they won. Sparkler machines are going off on the stage and they're shooting pyro. Generally in the past, when you thought about fireworks, you thought about the 4th of July, right? So there's a lot of, like your company, your event group, there's a lot of weddings and bridal showers and parties, personal parties and those things. So fireworks are morphing from the 4th of July as a mainstay or a staple of fireworks to a year-round type of celebration. So people are using it all over the place. And that's where we're trying to capitalize on a lot of that off the 4th of July stuff.
Right. Okay. When you think of the pyro, you think of 4th of July celebration fireworks at the end of the evening. But now you do the smoke bombs and all of that as well? So there's more to it than just like what we think of as fireworks.
Fireworks, and then so we refer to that stuff as special effects. So if you go to a NASCAR race or something, or an award show, there's confetti shot at the end of that, or I shouldn't say at the end. It could be anytime, right? But confetti type events or things like that are all under what pyro shows can do as a company in that special effects field. So you can do smoke mines or air shows might hire us to do strafing runs or special effects for as they're coming in on a low pass. We might be able to hit some hits on the ground that looks like a machine gun fire. Different things like that is in our wheelhouse as well.
And that's a lot of precision and timing with that as well. Yeah. So I know it's there are a lot of weddings lately. Most of us that I've seen these at have been international weddings, but it's like when after the couple says "I do," then they do the smoke bombs, that come up.
Yep. Yeah, the daytime fireworks. We do that. We do some of that, and you'll see some of that in college football games too during the day off the scoreboards, so you can actually see them.
Yeah.
There'll be different colored smoke, same effect, but yes, we do that.
The same way, yeah.
Yeah, right. Same way. Also, gender reveals. So it's the same thing. The smoke fireworks that you see, that is also something that fits right into that.
And a lot of gender reveals need a professional to do them, and not some of the people they get. Because you've seen the gender reveals that have gone wrong.
Yes, yeah.
Obviously, they didn't have a professional helping them.
That's right.
Out.
That's right.
But
yeah, it's best to hire the professionals. I agree with that.
True. Yeah, especially in this arena, no doubt. Yeah. What's the biggest challenge that you think your company faces?
I would just off the top of my head, I would say technicians. We can sell fireworks, almost sell themselves. People love them. But as the company grows, we are fighting a battle of having enough technicians to be able to pull off what we want to. Sometimes guys get spread too thin and they're doing more and more things, and that's where injuries can happen, or that's where mistakes can happen. But if we had 2 people and we could duplicate that person, and we can do more. So all across the Southeast, it's a challenge everywhere to staff the shows and get the technicians to be able to shoot those. So I would say technicians is the biggest hurdle.
I agree with Chris. It's we can build tens of thousands of firework mortars and racks and import more fireworks and buy more fireworks and produce the equipment and buy the computers to push the paper and all those things, but we can't manufacture the people, and the people who are competent and safe and really have a passion for shooting fireworks. Fireworks for most people, me and Chris, we clock in every day and shoot fireworks or work towards that goal, right? A lot of our technicians are part-time. It's really their hobby that they get paid for. It's a hobby that makes money, right? Yeah. So some of them are doctors and firefighters and airline pilots and just business owners, HVAC business owners, all those types of people, teachers, absolutely, football coaches, right? And they have a love for fireworks, and then they'll display fireworks with us, whether it's over the 4th of July or a few times a year, and they have a passion for it, but then they also get a paycheck at the end.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got a whole range of people. So just finding ones that have the passion and want to do it, that's your main issue, I guess, or not issue, but a challenge. Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes it's physical as well. So when you go out,
retention is another challenge, right?
Right.
So it's
fireworks are exactly. Yeah. They're a great form of entertainment, but they're very challenging to set up. And then at the end of the show, the show's over. Everyone else gets in their vehicles and goes home and says, wow, what a great fireworks show.
Right.
We go back to work, and we've been there all day, and then take everything back down and load it back up. So the work doesn't stop after the show. The work's it's good because your adrenaline's pretty high after you do the display, but you still have to tear it down, and so it takes a little bit of physical effort as well.
Sure. All right. Well, good deal. Well, we're going to put your information on the screen so that if people want to contact you about doing something for their private event, their community, or whatever. So your information is on the screen now. So
we appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that way they can contact you, and hopefully you'll get some interest from people that watch this or listen to it. And
we thank you for that, Rick. And if there's anybody out there too that sees the information on the screen, could also contact us if they have an interest in being a technician and seeing if that suits what they would like to do as a hobby, or if they have a passion for fireworks, we'd like to talk to that individual as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go to our website and click Become a Pyro, fill that out, and it actually goes to me. So I'll see it if you're interested in.
And we will call you.
Yeah. That sounds good. Yeah. All right. Well, Jason and Chris, thank you so much for being with me today. I appreciate it. And that concludes our episode of Luxe Life Discovered. We will see you soon.